Hey, what's going on, everybody? We're back on our BKFC Reddit. Ask Me Anything. We're joined by Captain Deadpool himself, Jared Warren. How you doing, bud?
Doing good, brother. How you doing?
Great. You're looking rested. You're not getting a lot of rest though. Like you have a huge fight coming up, and you are like working like a madman trying to get back to your old life. Can you tell us about like what happened and like all the trials and tribulations going into this fight?
Yeah, man. Basically, we got flooded out really bad by Hurricane Helene. Um, and the house itself is still standing, but everything inside, we lost. I had to take down all my walls and pull up all the flooring. All my furniture and contents and everything that we own got demolished. So we're just rebuilding and replacing, and it just doesn't leave a lot of free time. Like today is just a basic example. I woke up, started, you know, working on things inside the house, left to go to the gym, get some strength and conditioning in, come back, quick meal, and working on the house again. So that's kind of been the theme lately. That plus working full time at the fire department and stuff. But these last couple weeks, I do make a habit of taking off, when approaching a fight, so I can at least catch up on a little rest and hone in on everything a little better. But like I said, it hasn't been ideal, but no one ever said fighting's going to be easy, and just adds a little adversity to it, and I think it's going to make me feel even better when it's all said and done at the end of this fight.
I know Crystal was supposed to do a fight, but then the hurricane came through. Was there any talk about you not wanting to fight? Because getting your life back on track, or that was never an option. You're the champion. You got to do what you got to do.
Nah, no, I mean, like, of course, like, friends of mine that are, not a part of the fight world, they're like, dude, you should definitely not fight. This is a terrible time. I'm like, no, man. I mean, like I said, it's not ideal, but it's doable. And no, it was never a consideration to not fight in this fight. I'm excited about it still. I always say that regardless of how much hard work I put in to be a fighter, I do still feel lucky to be a part of it all. And especially at the phase that BKFC is in, they're just constantly exploding and leveling up.
What do you do for holidays? I mean, Thanksgiving was just, you got Christmas coming up. Do you guys, I mean, like you can't do it at the house. Do you guys travel and go see people, or what are you guys trying to do for that?
Um, we don't really do much, man. My family is semi local, but spread out, and they don't, they're not too festive. Crystal's family lives on the other side of the country, but
Sure.
I do think of as my close training partners and coaches at Shift as family, and whenever they get together for anything, whether it be for a holiday meal or just some kind of celebration, we always try and be a part of that when we can. But otherwise, we're just happy to do something small at the house with with the dogs, and have our own little party.
Okay, those that don't know, Jared likes a very unique combination of pie slash cheese. Did you have any apple pie and cheese for Thanksgiving?
I did, yeah. We had some here, and it wasn't exactly planned out. Like Crystal bought some pies, and we had cheese in the fridge. So I'm like, this is happening. Yeah, I mean, it's always a. I'm a big fan. Sooner or later, it's gonna catch on. Maybe not for many years, but there'll be people out there like, I'm gonna try it. And if anybody's wondering, like, you either use cheddar or American cheese on top and just melt it down a little bit. Anything else is probably a little too weird, but it's good. It's got the whole sweet and salty thing going.
I tried it. My wife tried it. We made a video of it. Like we actually really like it. So like you might be onto something. Slowly, one internet challenge at a time, it'll start taking off people.
Love it.
Didn't you guys just get a new dog? I feel like you guys got a new dog recently, or no?
Yeah, it was this past I guess it was the early part of the summer. We got her. We got her from a local rescue, and we still don't know what kind she is. She's like just some tall, lanky, white and brown hound dog of some sort. She tripled in size with having her for like a month or two. We're like, oh, we thought we were gonna be like a medium sized dog. Like, no, she's really tall. But I don't care. We love big dogs. We love small dogs. And yeah, her name's Sugar. She's been awesome. She's definitely earned her name. She's a little sweetheart.
One of my favorite things, like in an interview, usually a dog or a cat or something, something comes in and invades the interview. So I always love that about you guys. And you guys are animal people, and I'm an animal person, so I think that's why we get along so well.
Heck yeah, yeah. I got a couple of them sleeping right here on the bed. They're just like completely passed out. Is the only reason they're not crawling on me right now.
How close are you to having the house finished? I mean, do you see the end in sight, or it's still going to take quite a while?
It's we're getting there, man. I don't know how to put it in a timeline exactly, but um, we just recently hit the point where we're back sleeping inside. We were staying in a friend's RV. Gave that back to him last week, and everything's functional. We got a lot of finishing touches to do, but all the important things are in, like bed, bathroom. Our kitchen is almost back together. I got all the appliances in, and a good friend of mine has been helping me with the putting in the cabinets amongst all the other things he's been helping with. But yeah, like the really important stuff is here, so it's functional. We can live inside again, and it's great because that actually takes a lot of the pressure off. Because before, like, I just felt like I couldn't have any kind of break as far as like let me just take a day off from not working on the house. But I felt like the more work I put in, the quicker the family gets back inside and back to some sense of normalcy.
Sure.
So yeah, we're back in, and that definitely is a huge relief.
Were you planning on going out to Spain for that fight, and the hurricane kind of derailed that, or were you always planning on not going?
No, I was planning on going, man, and I was really excited about it. Um, and I was within like a day or two of actually purchasing my flights and stuff. And then we just started seeing on the news what was coming, and we're like, well, we better pump the brakes and see how this goes. And then it quickly turned into, we're definitely not leaving now. So yeah, that would have been a fun thing to be a part of, especially supporting Dave Mundell and everything. But just they did really good about advertising that and showing what all was going to be
Yeah.
involved with it and such. And it just like looked like a great time, and everybody that went said it was. But yeah, unfortunately this time it wasn't in the cards for me.
Is Dave salty that you're a better fighter and were able to put Danny away faster?
Yes, he's very, very salty. And I told him, it's it's okay. Like, if you're gonna lose to somebody, why not your teammate who's way better than you? You know what I mean? So it's an ongoing thing. So he's hoping that my fight with Richmond lasts longer than 3 rounds, so he can try and stab me back. But we'll see.
What is it like? I mean, you guys, it's kind of odd that you guys are fighting, people that the other ones fought before. Like, it's crazy that you guys, I mean, that also shows that you guys only fight the best of the best, But I mean, like, were you able to use his game plan, or you're much taller and longer than Dave? You can't get super close like he does. You can actually use your reach.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we have little discussions about it, but um, it's not a huge factor, because we really do kind of go by that mindset and training of don't worry about what they're going to do, worry about what you're going to do, set your own pace, take the fight where you want it, kind of deal. So yeah, it's fun to talk about like how their view on things work. But you're right, like, although we do have some similarities about technique, Dave and I, but we do have very different builds, so that can change things a bit. But it is kind of cool that we're basically trading opponents left and right. People keep going up and down in weight, but him and I have stayed in our same respective weight classes, and that's just kind of how the chips be falling.
We interviewed him after he came back, and he's saying he's getting kind of sick of cutting weight. So he sounds like he's ready for you to come down and him to step up. But he's talking about like, oh, I might just go up to 205. It sounds like he's getting kind of tired of cutting down to 75.
Yeah, no, I can see that, but I will say, since the Spain fight, he's been staying a lot more on the lean side. Like he used to do a lot of like the fights pass, so I'll just get
Yeah.
comfortable, go up and wait and whatever. But I think he's gotten a lot more serious about the nutrition side of things and staying on that. So he's definitely stayed a lot leaner, and I think or obviously that it would be a much easier cut for him. But we have talked about that many times, like just like, hey, let's just see what Feldman says if we just want to trade titles. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Because I have such a easy
Yeah.
cut. If you even want to call it a cut, I mean, I'm so close to my fight weight on a daily basis. Like, I don't know. I think I'm definitely the smallest 185er in the class, but it just goes to show that you know weight weight is something. They do have weight class for a reason, but it's not everything, because if it was, then the big guy would always win, and that's just not how it goes.
Your coach Jihad likes to say skill will overcome, and I feel like in your situation exactly, you aren't the biggest, but your skill overcomes every time.
Yeah, yeah, that's going to be the main factor: your skill, your conditioning, um, and how hard you hit too. Um, Not bragging, but I do feel like I was kind of blessed with heavy hands naturally, and then being at shift with the proper technique, helped me take it to an even higher level. So that's always a big equalizer too.
It sounds like Richmond said if he doesn't get the win this coming up, that he might be done. Is there any kind of like nervousness that he's going to be kind of like that caged animal? And I don't necessarily say reckless, but I mean like he's got a lot coming up and a lot on the line versus you. Like, is there any consideration with that or not really?
No, no, I mean, like, that's kind of one of those teach their own. Everybody's got to come to terms when it's time. I will say, like, he is he is fortunate, that he's getting a third title shot. I'm not saying that it's not deserved. It is. He is a really good fighter. Um, but yeah, this may be it for him. If that's what he's been considering, then I can see that being a very big possibility. You know, but which sucks. He's always an entertaining fighter to watch. I'd like to see him stick around, but again, you never know how much stuff people got going on in their lives otherwise, and this stuff is fighting in general is you can't. I'm not even gonna say half-ass it. You can't even go 90% with it. You got to go all, or it. That's it. It's a very unforgiving sport, and you know, I know he's a family man, and he's got a business. I always see him posting about spearmint rhino and stuff. So he's got plenty going on, I'm sure. But
It's not like he's going to go back to digging ditches or anything. You know what I mean? If he decides not to come back, I feel like he'll be okay.
yeah, yeah. If you got to hang out with hot strippers all day, then there are worse things out there.
Okay, so every time we talk, I always got my shift shirt on. Like you got a new shirt on, full blast. Can you tell me about that?
Oh yeah, man. They he started sponsoring Dave Mundell and myself first. Dave was the first one to wear a T-shirt on his walkout for Spain, and and then he had already been communicating with me and Crystal and stuff, and brought us in. And the guy who runs it, he's local down here,
Okay.
and he always refers himself as a blue collar guy. He runs an electrician type company, and yeah, initially he just brought us on, normal kind of sponsorship, like, hey, give you this much, and you do the normal stuff, and but he really like took things to the next level. Like while I was in the midst of rebuilding my house, when I was still at that phase of like, okay, I just finished basically all the demolition side and was starting to reinstall new things. Um, a guy that was a like a friend of a friend who like claimed to be a builder, like he's like, hey man, I'll come help you with your house for X amount of money. It's a really long, very frustrating story that I'm not going to tell. But basically, the guy swindled me out of money
No.
and like destroyed my house at the same time. Made it way worse. Right, I had to redo everything that he ripped me off for. Um, so that set me back. And uh, Chris, Chris White's his name, the guy from Full Blast. He heard what had happened, and he's like, dude, let me at least try and help you out. And because of the business he's in, he knows a lot of people from different trades, and so he came himself, got his own hands dirty, and brought workers with him to help fix what the other guy had destroyed. And to me, like, I just don't meet a lot of people like that are that, you know I don't know, good natured and helpful in general, to just someone that you're kind of on a new basis with. But the guy helped me a ton, and yeah, so I'm like more than happy to wear his stuff all day long. It's him and a buddy, like he's originally a Buffalo guy,
Okay.
and he's got a good buddy up there that he started this with, and that guy's last name is Fool, so that's kind of where like the Full Blast thing comes from. And yeah, both awesome dudes, and yeah, man, I'm happy to be a part of their team, man. And they've taken a few. They got, like I said, Mundell, myself, Crystal, Brandon Allen, and Larimore. So I'm sure he's gonna have the whole shift team here soon enough. But yeah, dude, he's been awesome.
I was gonna say if you're gonna hitch your wagon, the shift team is not a bad wagon to be attached to.
Good wagon.
Okay, it seems like you're starting to. This is a big fight. You're starting to like get a little bit of the recognition. You hear about Italy coming up. You hear about like a big card in the Middle East coming up. Is that like something that you're kind of eyeballing, or are you like you want a little bit of downtime after this fight? You want a quick turnaround? Like what's your plans?
If I get an opportunity for any of those, I'm in, man. Even though like traveling and fighting can be a little rough on the body when you got to take these long flights, it is still a pretty awesome experience. So yeah, if I was able to do, the Italy card or the Middle East, I'm definitely in if it's offered. Won't blink an eye at either of those. I don't ever look for long periods of time off. If in 2022 was like my most active year, where like pretty much every 3 months on the dot I got a fight, and it was awesome. Um, now I can see like with holding the belt that's probably not going to be the case. Realistically, like it's probably more often to be like twice a year. But whatever big cards like that I can be a part of, I'm in.
Mike Perry has said that you seem like a fun fight. Like you get past Mike Richmond. Is that a fight that interests you, like fighting Mike Perry, or you leave him for Dave? Like what would you like to do?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I brought him up a number of times. I would love to fight Perry. I think it would be a fun fight for us. And him and Dave have their beef going on. um, but yeah, like if I got the opportunity, I don't know what's going on with him and his new venture, fighting and stuff, doing the whole dirty boxing thing. Um, but I kind of assume that he does still have some, fights under contract with BKFC. So yeah, my my gut feeling is that uh, drama sells better than respect, unfortunately, a lot of times. And you know, him and Dave don't like each other, so they talk shit. I do like Perry. Yeah, I mean, I think he's a cool guy. But I also like the challenge. Like I think he's done awesome in this sport, and that'd be a nice notch for me if I did get to fight and beat him. So yeah, like anything else, if the opportunity's there, definitely. But again, I can see them being like, well, there's going to be more hype if they hate each other. So, I could see him and Dave getting after it. But if that happens, I'd be happy for Dave too. He has wanted that fight for a while. So, however the chips fall for that one, man, it'd be good either way.
I think Mike said he has 3 or 4 fights left on his contract, and he's certainly not going to walk away from money. The guy likes money, so yeah. I mean, like I said, it's one of those though. Like you get the win, you call him out maybe, and then who knows? Like you got to put it in the universe,
Yeah, yeah, you're right. And I feel like going into my last fight, I had that whole thing game planned in my head for like a post fight speech, but that's just not where the conversation led after the win, and yeah, that never happened. So, but it's definitely out there. You know what I mean? Like, talking to guys like you, I do like get a chance to bring that kind of stuff up, and you know, like I said, I think he's gotten a little bit of not forgotten about, but I think with the Jake Paul shit, like maybe lost a little bit of his clout. Because they were blowing him up before that, and I just haven't seen very much afterwards. So,
sure.
If I'm Mike Perry, I would think I'd want to get back in there and try and remind people who I am. So yeah, hopefully he does stick around and get some more fights under us.
Okay, well that's all I got for you. You done any fun fire calls lately, or it's been kind of boring all around?
Let me think. Not necessarily fun. There's just like I don't know. I was telling Crystal the other day. I was like, if I would have started like when I was brand new on the job, just like writing down like all the ridiculous calls that I run,
Sure.
I could have made a book by now and probably retired because there's so many things that are freaking just hilarious and off the wall. But yeah, it's retarded. But no, yeah, on the fire side, nothing too fun to talk about. But yeah, just the patients we run on a regular basis are just out of this world sometimes.
I've realized fire is like a good career. Again, I worked in the funeral industry, and the one thing I miss is the fun calls. And I'm going to say fun calls, and it's certainly not fun for somebody if you work in the funeral industry. But I miss like like the exciting calls where like it's something super crazy, and then go into the nursing home at 3 a.m. all the time. Like that got old. But I mean, like the fun calls, I do miss that.
Yeah, that sounds exactly like the fire department because we do get the wild stuff, and then we do go to nursing homes at 3 a.m. Ours is usually to pick people up off the ground and put them back in bed, whereas yours is probably to pick them up and keep them. But
Yeah.
but yep, probably circle life. What do you do?
Cool. All right, man. Well, good luck with your fight. Can't wait to watch. It's going to be a big one on DAZN. First time fighting on DAZN. Like, how do you feel about that? Did you like the DAZN thing, or are you kind of like up in the air on it still?
No, I do like it. I watched it for Spain and for Montana and all that, and nothing against the BKFC app, but it has been known to have some streaming problems at random.
Sure.
Nothing big, but little blips here and there. But I did notice for a DAZN, like it was very smooth, and I didn't have any issues. And maybe just because it is on a bigger platform, they've overcome all those little nuances and stuff. So I definitely love it, man. I'm glad that my fight is one of the bigger ones that gets to be on DAZN, and yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
It's kind of crazy. The headline for Miami is not two Miami guys. Like, I'm sure that's blowing everybody's head over there in Miami, but we're from Miami. We're big ticket sellers, and it's you and Mike Richmond. Two dudes not from Miami.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. That's probably a first. They're like, where's Palomino? And he used to headline every card here.
Brian Duran, like all that stuff, and it's not the case now. So
Yeah, he's on it, so I'm sure he can still sell his tickets. But yeah, they got to get him some titles to get on those headliners.
Yep. All right, man. Thanks so much. Good luck on your fight. Can't wait to talk to you again.
My pleasure, man. Thanks for having me.
See you. Bye.
See you, dude.